Thanks so much for this opportunity and for inviting me to this session to share my story as well as to share a bit about my community. That's African Women in GIS. So with your permission, I'd like to share my screen. So I don't know if you can see my screen now. Can you all see my screen?
Yes, we can.
Okay, thank you. So thank you very much again. Today, I'll be sharing my journey and also the story behind African women in GIS. And as Victor said, I did have a few doubts in my journey, especially as a Black woman and as an African woman in a continent or in a country that did not have any idea what GIS was, how to pave my way through that field, and how to kind of think about my future with some of the things that was going through my mind in my life. So to start off, I usually start from the very beginning as to how I got the inspiration for being involved in anything geographic. So it started off in primary school where I used to listen to my brother, who was 5 years ahead of me. So he was in high school at the time and he used to do geography as well. So anytime he comes home, he brings his books home. I go through his books. I enjoyed it. And I was also into National Geographic Channel. So that was something that was really, really interesting for me at the time. So as you can see here, fast forward, this is me in high school. That was what drove me to offer geography in my high school. Unfortunately, the combination I wanted to offer was not available, which was a mixture of geography and science. So I had to choose between actual geography or doing another art course that had government. So I chose geography and I furthered it into university. And that was where, as Victor mentioned, I had a few doubts. My parents were a bit worried because they did not know what kind of work I can get if I was to further geography. At the time, the only work you can think of is something around being a teacher or being a lecturer. And looking at how shy I was, they didn't think I could do. They were really scared as to what I could use geography for. But I still persevered. There was a little fight about it, but I still went ahead and did it. Luckily, my dad was really supportive and told my mom that I would be responsible for my own choices. So she should just allow me to take that step. So in university, that was where I found GIS. Fast forward to my third year, I was researching into the elective courses available. That's in University of Ghana. And I was offering geography and resource development with psychology. And that was where I decided to further GIS because from the research, I realized that it was a really great field and it was not really known. Therefore, I wanted to see what it was about and also see the opportunities that could come with it. So during my third year, as we were studying the course, I got to see how vast the applications could be and the benefits that could come with it in our country, that's Ghana. And I added that to my long essay. So at the end of the year, that is my fourth year, I had my long essay, which originally did not have GIS. So I had just less than a week to actually add GIS to my long essay. And from what you see here, this is what I added. So my topic was on urban sprawl and water supply in urban Accra. And from that, I had to kind of make an analysis that's urban sprawl in the span of over 3 years, 1991, 2000, and 2016. And from what you can see in the image here, you can tell that there has been significant increase in built up in these areas. So this study actually motivated me to keep trying my best. And in doing so, I took up an internship opportunity. This was before I graduated, but during that time, I was able to work with a startup that offered GIS and software development solutions. And in so doing, I got mixed up in the world of GIS mixed with tech and business. So that was where I saw a really great opportunity to grow. And I felt that if I could involve myself in that, I could hopefully enter into that industry. So moving on after university, my my West African friends or anybody who has this program in their country will attest to this. You have to offer 1 year national service to the country. And in so doing, I was fortunate enough to be called back by the startup to work with them. So this is myself and a colleague, where in the startup, I had to take up so many jobs. I don't know, it's mostly seen as I don't know that is a gender thing, but when there's a lady in the room, she's kind of expected to be the secretary. She's kind of expected to be the person who will be handling events and all that, like basically around organization and note taking. So I took up other roles in addition to GIS. That was being an administrator and a GIS technician. In addition to that, because we are a software development company, I was also a program manager as well as a project coordinator for some of the solutions that we were building. And moving on, during that time, I had to sacrifice some of my time. So in Ghana, you have 1 month leave where you are able to take that whole month off after your national service. But because there was a coding program that was happening a month before the leave, I had to switch my leave with the month of the coding month so that I could take that time off. So I actually didn't go on leave. I had to use my leave to learn coding. So that is me here with the ladies in this organization that's Developers in Vogue. They are also a growing community in Ghana that is helping to teach ladies how to code and be involved in the software development field. Moving forward, I was also called again to represent the company in an international competition, and there by grace, we were able to get the third prize. And that's where you see myself and my colleague, where he was the software developer on the team. So the solution had a combination of GIS and tech. Basically, it was to help curb the fall armyworm infestation at the time. And it was kind of like a data collection tool that had an alert system. It was really, really cool. And I was very happy to represent the company in Uganda as well as South Africa to receive that award. Moving forward, I was fortunate enough to have an opportunity after I left my service. After a few months, again, my parents were on my neck that I should hurry up and get a job. I didn't like the fact that I was at home either. So I used to take up volunteering opportunities with the tech community that I learned coding with. And during that time, I was called to have an interview with this company. A colleague of mine heard about it and invited me over. So in addition to this, I'll add that please have a community around you. It's very important. That's usually how you hear about these kind of opportunities. So through that, I was selected and I served there for about almost 2 years. So over there, I'll take you through some of the things I did over there to give you an idea of how I contributed to adding GIS to the food and beverages industry. And through this, we're actually given the prize of the special awards in the Esri conference in, I think, 2020. So that was a really cool thing to also add. Then during my journey, I started to teach people how to utilize LinkedIn because I realized in my time on LinkedIn that it was a very good opportunity to share your views and also to share the work you are doing. So I took it as an opportunity to help upcoming ladies, especially with those who had taken up the tech or the GIS fields, to teach them about personal branding, because this is how you can stand out among the masses. So using this platform, I'd like to encourage everyone to take personal branding very seriously, because that is how you can take up so many opportunities and get so many doors opened up for you without necessarily going to them yourself. Now I also the opportunity to talk to lots of platforms, lots of audiences, mostly students, to encourage them and to also motivate them to take up any field that they feel like they want to take up, especially if it is in STEM. And I would like to add that usually for these talking opportunities, it's very beneficial to add the parents, because they are the ones in some time, especially for Africa, they are the ones who determine what the kids will be. So I always share that I have a friend who her parents actually changed her school, her choice of high school, because they felt like she should go to another school. They forced their choices on her, and at the end of the day, it affected her. So it's very important to speak to the parents as well if we are doing any of these kind of outreaches to motivate students or to help them in mentorship. Now, moving forward, I was able to join the community Women in Geospatial during my journey. And before that, I actually started the community African Women in GIS with my co-founder. So during that time, we met on LinkedIn. I'll go into it and into a bit into details, but for now, I met her on LinkedIn, and since then we actually haven't met physically. But the good part about it is that after meeting on LinkedIn, we actually combined our communities, and I'll take you through that story as well. And through that, we have been able to create the African Women community in GIS. So as mentioned, I later joined a mentorship program under Women in Geospatial, which was very beneficial. And we have been able to create a kind of bond with them that African Women in GIS and Women in Geospatial are really close, and we have a lot of events together. Moving on, I was fortunate to get an opportunity to work with Microsoft in Norway, which is where I currently am, working as a UX researcher for Microsoft. But I still run the community on the side. So that is what keeps me in GIS. So I'm still growing, I'm still learning, I'm still young, and I'm hoping that I can make much more differences in the world using the community of African women in GIS. So to start off, I would like to take you through what I did at the Food and Beverages Company to give you an idea of some of the applications of GIS in Africa. So first of all, to start off this project, you have to ask the business what exactly they want to achieve, to know what exactly they want to get done. And in this case, they wanted to divide their territories into territories and into routes, and kind of assign it to distributors who will be able to easily kind of share their products to the customers. So first off, they had to pick the data, customer data, which was over 80,000. I mean, it was a lot. And I had to work with that data to divide it per the ranges of the amounts that they give me, to divide it per territories. And through that, we were able to have so many territories under which this is a representation of what you can do with it. So this is like some of the ways in which you can visualize the data. So this is a pseudo data. This is not their data, because every data is confidential. And this shows some of the ways in which you can use that data. So you can visualize based on the volume per customer or the volume per region. And using that data, you can actually make good business decisions as to how you can distribute and how many distributors or how many times you can run your delivery routes. So using this data, we're able to create efficient territories and routing systems. This is an example, it's not necessarily what we did, but there's an example of something that you can do with this data, that is create delivery route maps and schedule delivery routes so that every customer knows that, okay, on Wednesdays, I'll be getting this delivery. If you want to put in a request for a delivery, it's much easier to track and easy to manage sales and everything. So this was an application of GIS in business. That is a field that I'm really passionate about, that is your business, because I believe that if we are able to encourage businesses to take up GIS, we will be able to encourage job opportunities for our people who are studying GIS and studying other geo-related courses. So this is the starting of African Women in GIS. Following up, we started off as two separate communities, myself and Chidinma Umegu from Nigeria. She had a community for women in GIS Nigeria, whereas I had for women in GIS Ghana. So I had just 11 members because I had just started my community a bit later after so much procrastination in university. I actually had it in mind since university, but I was a bit scared and unsure. But due to constant thinking and constant like gut feelings, I decided to just go for it because no one was doing it. So I started a community on a WhatsApp group, got about 11 members, whereas Chidinma has started 2 years ago. So we met on LinkedIn, as I mentioned earlier. And through that, we combined communities based on some of the discussions we had, because we realized that our roles and what we're aiming to do was so similar. And through that, we currently have about 400 plus members residing in over 30 plus countries. And as of May 2021, we have most of our members residing in Nigeria, Kenya, Ghana, Egypt, and South Africa. And we have a much growing community that is, we have a lot of ideas for in the future. So this is a little map that is showing some of the countries that we have our members residing in. As you can see, we have some people residing in countries that are not in Africa. So that's because we have the community for African women all over the world. So no matter where you are located in the world, and if you're an African or you want to relate with us, you can join our community. And through that, we have this vast spread in the whole world. So what were some of the problems that influenced our existence? As some of you might relate to, even I had that issue, was the fact that we had low level of awareness of GIS, and through that, we had lack of knowledge of vast applications and how we could use GIS in tackling some of the problems that we have in Africa. And through that, we realized that a lot of us were scattered. Those who were learning GIS were scattered. They do not have a collective place where we could get ideas, we could have the benefit of getting access to information, or even job opportunities, or even learning opportunities. And through that, we were able to create this haven for African women, especially because of the gender the gender differences, because most of the people who took up the GIS roles were men. So we wanted to bring together the women and also to encourage them to take it up. Because I realized that when I was in school, the first semester took up remote sensing, the second semester took up GIS. However, after the first semester, the number of ladies in the GIS class dropped. Most of the ladies dropped the course. So this was kind of interesting to me because I loved the course. People didn't understand, but I loved it. So we wanted to encourage the ladies not to do that, especially after school, where it was even higher for a lot of ladies to drop the course. So during our discussions, we realized that these were some of the fundamental problems as well as career path problems. So in terms of fundamental, that's the basis of everything. That is lack of proper career guidance, inadequate school curriculum, lack of exposure to African female GIS role models, lack of grassroots GIS benefits awareness, as well as the gender tenacity of some African parents. So as I mentioned, some African parents are the ones who decide what their children should do, and that is a problem. Next is the career path problems that most of us can relate to. That is the limited number of GIS jobs in African countries, inaccessible GIS job information, and also the lack of GIS mentors for career guidance, as well as inaccessible or unaffordable GIS events or skills upgrade and courses. So we also have the fact that some of them do not have any knowledge of community, therefore they cannot benefit from most of these information. So that was what brought about African Women in GIS. And since then, we are very happy to share some of the activities that we are trying to bring up to help our members, some of which is the fact that our mentorship is only for women. However, our webinars and events are made public. And in this map is a representation of one of our key programs, that is the mentorship. So this is one lady from Ghana, and she shared some of her views on what the mentorship meant to her and how she benefited from it. Some of our members have benefited in the sense that they have been encouraged to take up so many top opportunities that they thought at first they couldn't take up because they feel like, oh, they are not qualified enough. But in our time right now, it's like, I, for instance, in my former job, I was the only GIS specialist. No one understood my work. Therefore, there was no one above me to even tell me what to do or someone to even learn from. Therefore, you kind of need to lean on community and mentorship to help you to grow and also to help you in times of maybe if you have any questions during your work. So these are some of the things that we try to help our ladies to go through to help them to upskill, and also take up courses or opportunities from other ladies who also of higher level to learn from them and to also get some experience opportunities from them. So next are some of the organizations and programs that we have in addition to the mentorship to help our members. We have collaborations with North Star, Ibiza, WeMappers, Women in Geospatial, HERE Technologies, and OSM Ghana, AfriSnet. These are organizations that we have had events with. We kind of have some projects with some of the companies because we believe that we have to help our members to grow their portfolio. Therefore, when you join as a member and we come up with these kind of projects that organizations have. Currently with Ibiza, they help to create some form of proof for insurance for farmers. Therefore, they use raster, satellite imagery. You have to kind of work with the satellite imagery to provide them with some proof for their insurance on their farms in case they have drought or they have issues with their farms. So some of our ladies are on those projects, and we have other projects that our ladies are part of. Currently, we are trying to start a YouTube tutorial session. So here we have an example of some of the events we have had so far. The first is trying to teach others of the... Okay, sorry for that. I'll try to wrap it up as fast as possible. So the emerging trends in geospatial industry, we are trying to educate people on some of the upcoming things around the geospatial industry to kind of keep us on our toes so that we can keep up with the skills that are growing in the field that is like really rapid, and to keep our people as well in the loop. We also have the 7 days masterclass for beginners. So if you're a total beginner, like you have no idea what GIS is, we have these videos on our YouTube channel that could help you to get at least the beginner's knowledge of GIS, after which you are encouraged to do more. So during that time, we were able to have quite a number of ladies attending, which was really good, and encouraging most of the gentlemen as well to encourage their lady friends to also do the same, to learn with us. So now we have some upcoming webinars. This is happening tomorrow, and we have more coming up in this year and the next to help encourage our members and to help encourage the general public as well. So in conclusion, we have a lot to do. Currently, people have accepted that there's a field like GIS due to COVID, unfortunately, due to the circumstances. But for now, we have the opportunity to show the world what GIS can do above that, and also to what it can do to help not only our countries, but also our continent and the world. So we have as a community, however, we cannot do that alone. Therefore, would like to reach out to any organization or individuals or communities or schools that are willing to collaborate with us to come together to make that a possibility. So you can reach us through LinkedIn and Twitter. That's where we are mostly active. We have events and other programs on YouTube, and we also have a website that has the details of our members. So if you need any person who wants to be a speaker, we intentionally made a page only for the members who are willing to provide their information to be speakers, to also get job opportunities. So if you know, or you want to be, if you're an African woman and you want to be part of our community, please go to our LinkedIn and Twitter and sign up with the pinned post. And also you can come and add your profile here. Over here, it's kind of like a database for anyone who wants to be a speaker or who is looking for a job and wants exposure, or just wants to have their profile up so that you can show it as a proof that you are part of us. That's also part. And also, yeah, I encourage you to continue to be with us throughout our journey. And we hope that in the near future, we can even make much better and much bigger differences. Thank you very much for your attention.